Bass and Bars podcast number 4. Today we got the legendary icon, one of the best rappers of all time, man.
I like that.
Got Redman in the house, bro.
What's good? What's good, Brady?
This is a trip, man.
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah. You've been on me, and I was like, you know what? I gotta pull up. That's why I called you. I was like, you know what? Let me call him and give him this time and just make a date and knock it out. So I'm glad we got an opportunity to do it, bro.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, bro.
We out here in Jersey. And,
30 miles from where I live at.
I was like, Jersey. He's in Jersey. All right, that's going to work, but as far as shit.
Yeah, it was far as hell, but it was cool because, like you said, it's good parking, good area. I know this area very well.
Yeah, it's nice out here, bro.
Exactly.
I mean, it's different from the bricks. It's different from where you
Definitely a different fabric from the bricks.
Yeah.
Even though we do have spots like this, we could have done it in the bricks at, but, you know, hey, I wanted to be where you was comfortable at and could get you, you know.
Dope, man. So yeah, today we're doing Tonight's the Night. So take me to that day, bro. I want to hear like what happened the day you recorded that record, if you remember.
You know what? The whole story behind Tonight's the Night is kind of very interesting, right? Like, all right, at that time I was living with Eric Sermon. You know, he put me on. That's big bro. Was good. We all lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. He took me in. Like, that's why, like, that's my big bro, man. He took me in when I ain't have nowhere to go. But at the time, he was living in a 1-bedroom apartment with his road manager. So we all stayed in 1-bedroom apartment, 3 dudes. Cool B, Bernard Alexander, what's up, Cool B, and Eric Sermon and me. But it was an apartment of straight work. Like, because we were so confined, you had no choice, but when the music started in the morning, you had to get up. And our music area was in the kitchen area. Mind you, all right, here's the thing. If you walk through that door there, the dining room was right there. The living room was right about here. And then there was a kitchen to the side over there. And then there was the 1-bedroom over there. That was it. So the dining room area was the mini studio. And back then it wasn't a home studio. It was, the technology hadn't caught up then. So we had to actually go to the studio. But we called it a studio because that's where we listen to records, find good samples, slow it down, speed it up to see if it was good to rap over, and we took it to the studio and made the beat. So that particular time, he was like, yo, it was the Isaac Hayes record. And it's actually fast, it's actually slower than what I got on my record. It's like Bennett. So he sped it up. It was like, I was like, yo, that shit is lit, bro. So we actually took it to the studio, made the beat. I wrote the song, laid the tracks. That was the magic there. Then I shot the video. My boy RATNER, very famous director. All the Rush Hours, lots of movies, look him up. That Tonight's Tonight video was his first video he ever shot.
Wow.
And he had his mom in the video as well. It was like a white lady that I seen in the hood. We shot the video uptown. So he had his mom's in a video, and I was his first video he ever shot. And then he went on to do bigger and better things, but the whole song was monumental because I gave a famous director the opportunity to shoot my video and become famous. And us discovering the record, how we discovered the record. It just shows the work and the work ethic and how much a sample, like an Isaac Hayes sample, can bring so many connections together. So I guess that's the magic of sampling back in the day, reliving the music that someone else did. So that's the magic that came from that record.
Wow.
Tonight's the Night, bro.
Yeah, that's a masterpiece, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a straight up masterpiece. And the cool thing about hip hop and being me, people are like, oh, what genre do you do? And I'm like, I do them all.
Right.
And not kind of, I really do them all because hip hop is liable to sample from any genre.
Right.
So if you're really doing this, you're playing anything.
Right. You sometimes it's like you can't even tie a certain genre to music. Like you'll hear maybe a techno sound maybe in one of my beats, or you might hear like when I'm in my car, put it this way, when I'm in my ride, I don't just bump rap. Like rap is like kind of only when I bump rap is when I'm G'd up and I'm riding through my hood with the mask on, ready to race somebody in my whip. You know, when I'm pulling up somewhere, I might throw on some Dipset or some shit like that. But when I'm by myself, bro, you be like, yo, you listen to shit like this? I'll be like, all fucking day, bro.
Yeah, when we met, you were bumping Steely Dan.
Yeah, exactly.
So who's like your favorite rock bands of all time?
Ooh. I listen to a lot of Steely Dan.
People probably just think you're just on some rap shit, but it's never that. It's always something else when you get in your car.
You know what? I don't got all my rock songs in here because it's a new phone. I usually put my sequence in here, but I consider like Lenny Kravitz rock. I listen to a lot of Lenny Kravitz. A couple of Red Hot Chili Peppers joint. But yo, if I had my list in here, yo, I'll go down the list. You'd be like, whoa, you rock that? I'd be like, yeah. You know?
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, bro.
So yesterday, we were talking, I was catching up. I was like, yo, let's talk about what we're going to do tomorrow. And you were like, yo, I'm going to hit you later. I'm skydiving.
Right.
And I was like, that's a legendary text back right there. What was the deal? Like, you're here today, and this is apparently a thing, man. Tell me about your skydiving passion.
My skydiving passion, bro. All right, put it this way. Like, I got into skydiving because I was depressed as hell. Maybe 2021, I got into skydiving. I was just like, you know what? I'm depressed. I don't give a fuck. If something happened in the air, I don't give a fuck. I'm just being transparent. So I went to go do a couple of tandem jumps, right? And I loved it so much that I damn near did 4 tandem jumps in one day. And, you know, at the DZ, that's called, you know, short for drop zone. They like, you know, it's not normal for people to do 4 tandems in one day. You might want to like sign up for the class. Like, so I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll give it a try. So when it was time to start up for the class, I took the class and took the test. By next week, I was skydiving with 2 instructors. And then I just kept going. Now, my passion for it is why I love it because, one, first, I'm a God-fearing man. Like, I'm a child of God. I take that very serious. And I always feel closer to God when I'm in the air, especially when I'm, you know, when I do a jump by myself. Like, I always talk to God while I pop my chute. It's a level of quietness and peace that you will never, ever really get down here. Not even if you was in a room by yourself and it was quiet. It's another level of peace that you feel in that air. Second thing I love about it is the community of skydiving. Like I mentioned in the interview a little while back, and some people took it a little offensive, just little assholes. But you know, I say I don't hang out with rappers. I don't hang out. I never hung out with other artists, or I was never like a industry guy that had to be at all the parties and be on the scene. That wasn't my thing. Even though I am a hip hop baby, I've been on tour since I was 19. I never been in parties hanging out. Feel me? I never even hung with other artists that's my brothers. I just never did it. But my skydiving community, I don't hang out with them as well, but I love that community because, you know, we're not tuned in to what's going on here. Like, they could care less what's going on in hip hop. Of course, they listen to hip hop and they got their own genre of music that they listen to. But with skydivers, because of the sport of it and the dangers of it, there's another level of communication amongst us when we're together which I love because it allows me to be myself more. I'm always myself in music, in the industry, but this allows me to drop certain requirements of who I am and supposed to be as a hip hop artist. Like I can totally freely be myself. And I say that in a sense of skydivers, they don't dress. There's no dress to impress when you skydiving. There's no, oh, they checking the Jordans. No, you supposed to have shitty sneakers on because of the dirt and the mud you might be landing in or whatever. You supposed to have gear on that you just ready to fuck up. Feel me? That's the level there. Then the talk of it is, how's the family? How's this? Let's learn something. Let's talk about some new moves, because no matter how many jumps you are still a sponge and learning. And because we're dealing with Mother Nature when we skydive, there's so many malfunctions that can happen that we have to be prepared for. So we always keep a level of great conversation, because you never know, that could be your last skydive, or you might end up in the hospital or something, or you might have to pop your reserve. So our level of talking and the communication is always on a higher frequency because of what we do. Third thing I love about it is all the things I mentioned all into this third situation of why I love it, because it's a humbling sport. No matter if you got 100 skydives or 33,000 skydives, there's always something that can happen that will humble you. You know, you get up there being cocky, you get up there trying to land cocky and boop, 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 break a leg, break an ass cheek or anything. It's always something that will humble you, because of we're going against Mother Nature and praying that we land safely. In that same sense, in that same manner, this is not a sport that you could come in and throw money at. Like, oh yeah, let me get in here and act like I know it all. No, there's no room, zero tolerance for that. No matter how much money you get, how much money have you made, no matter if you're black or white, no matter if you're Democratic or you're Republican, none of that shit matters when you get in the edge of that door and get ready to jump. It is strictly about your knowledge, your faith, most of all, in whoever you believe in. This is where your faith and your knowledge and what you believe comes into play. All that other shit of judgment, of who you are, what you do, all that shit do not matter when you're in that door ready to jump out. And that's what I like about it, because this is not something you can just come in and throw your character or what you did or your money at. This is something that you really got to sit down and respect and learn, or you will be humble. I've seen plenty of people that got over 10,000 jumps and end up in a body cast suit being unhumbled. So that's what I like about skydiving. I love the community of skydiving. Anybody that want to skydive, I would suggest going to Skydive Sussex. That's my team. That's my La Familia right there. That's where I learned that. They're very keen on rules and preparation for you to have a safe skydive and to learn the safe way. But skydiving is, I would advise everyone to take one skydive, because once you get in that air, like I get to actually feel what birds feel and people on a higher level of what they think and how they move. And when you're in them clouds, like right above the clouds, off the ground where you can hear nothing, it is so peaceful. It's like an untouched terrain of mental when you're in them clouds, and when you pop your chute and the only thing you just hear is the wind, and you're just going down and you just floating, and you cannot put words to it, bro. Sorry I said this for so long, but I want you guys to get a real feeling of what it's about. so you don't go in there being cocky, because cockiness, this is not the sport for it. Feel me?
Yeah, that's dope. I'm glad you went into depth on that, man. I
Yeah.
mean, do you feel like that snapped you out of that depression? Did that help you out?
It did. It did. It helped me out a lot. Yeah, at the time, me and my girl had parted ways, and that was a time where I had to make a choice. You know, I was going through a shit divorce that lasted years. Me and my girl had parted ways. Who I was seeing, we back together now. That's my queen right there. You already know when he say you let something go and it comes back to you, meant to be. So at that time, I went celibate for 2.5 years. I stopped smoking for 2.5 years. I actually started seeking help as far as a shadow worker, not a therapist, a shadow worker. You guys can research what that is. Same thing as a therapist, but not licensed. Shout out to Rose. She was my shadow worker. And what she does was challenge you on your past and your presence. And I was so busy blaming my past for my present mistakes. Like, well, I ain't never learned how to be so I had to be accountable. And there's 3 words in life that I abide by, if you will. And that is transparency, accountability, and vulnerability. And for those that really don't understand those words, especially vulnerability. Like, vulnerability, what do you mean by vulnerability? I had to sit there and tell a grown man this the other day. It's like vulnerability is like allowing yourself it's like humbling yourself. That's what vulnerability is. It's humbling yourself to learn from others. Mostly to shut this and listen more. And not being afraid to say, I don't know. No, I never read that book. No, I don't know how to do the job. No, I don't know how to drive. That's being vulnerable. That's like telling the truth about yourself. Also falls in the same line as transparency, but that accountability word, that's where a lot of people have problems with. You know,
that's one of the biggest problems with people in general.
Yeah, exactly. So skydiving helped me during that whole process. It allowed me to be more humble because, like I said to you just a minute ago, skydiving is a humbling sport, and you want to have your head right before you skydive. You don't want to get up there and, you know, you having problems, you mad, or I don't even smoke anymore, but even when I had started back smoking after my 2.5 years, I never smoked while skydive. I want to be clear-headed. I want to know my procedures. If something go wrong, I had like 7 malfunctions. Like it was half-half. I could have went or I could have lived. You feel me? So I had to be on point. I knew what to do. I knew my procedures, and I landed safely. So yes, back to your question. Those things help me. I always say, if you want to start healing, because that's what the world needs. We need more self-awareness and healing. It wasn't until I started doing this and stopped doing this. When I stopped doing this, you, and I started doing this, me. Because in any situation of anyone going through a spat or argument, even with your woman, you have to always remember there's a 30% of why that argument is happening on both ends. No matter if you say she was wrong, I was wrong, he was wrong, she was wrong, no, you was wrong. There's always a 30%. And that's what it said, that it's your fault and that's their fault. You have to come to amends and be accountable. So yeah, I had to learn to be humble, and skydiving helped me along the way with seeing my shadow worker, learning these words, talking with her, reaching back in my past, why I moved the way I moved at the time. But in order to get there, I would suggest, if you want to start self-healing, cut out a lot of distractions for a better reception. I kind of made that little term up. Cut out distractions for a better reception on what God wants to do with you, and what you want to do for yourself. You want to be happy? cut out some distractions. Maybe you need to put the blunt down for a minute. Maybe you need to put drinking down for a minute. Maybe you need to put sex down for a minute. Maybe you need to put something that is distracting you from really concentrating on yourself. So it all plays a role. It all plays a role. You're never going to get to a point, Brady, where you're going to say, wow, I'm fully healed. That's it. Where's the grand prize? There's never that. You know what I say is your reward of overcoming an obstacle or an adversity, if you will, is another obstacle and adversity. It don't fucking stop. You don't get no grand prize. You don't get a parade at the end. You get another adversity and obstacle. It's how you look at it and how you go about it and how you learn from the last one is what makes the growth.
One interesting thing I've been thinking about lately is like I worried about money for a lot of my life. In my 20s, being a professional musician, just check to check, barely. I haven't had a job in like 17 years. So I was always just survival mode. I got a little more successful, but I realized, and I'm not rich yet by any means, but I realized the more money you get, you just get bigger bills, and then you're worried about paying those bigger bills. So you could probably be a billionaire, and that same feeling, that gut feeling, like, where am I going to come up with this money? It's the same feeling.
Right there. You know, my pastor, Mike Todd, anybody not familiar with Mike Todd, he's part of Transformation Nation out there in Tulsa. Young guy, but his the way he preaches is not religion. Like, you got to do this. It's really like how we're talking. It's really inspirational. Those who not tuned in or don't have a church that they watch or pastor to watch, I would suggest watching Transformation Nation every Sunday. He said something that was very interesting in one sermon 2 weeks ago. He said, everybody is not meant to be rich. Everybody wants to be rich, but if everybody was rich in this world, then what is rich? In other words, he said, everybody's not meant to be rich because, of course, I had that problem too. Sometimes I'd be like, damn, you know, I'm doing my music. Am I supposed to get when is the big kaboom coming for me to just say, you know what, I can just sit back and not do music no more? And I know the feeling that you get, so I can concur with that. But we have to look at the blessing from that. You just said, I ain't have to work in over amount of years.
Yeah,
God
the freedom is incredible, and I try to focus on that.
And that is more of a blessing than anything. Yep. To have your freedom. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. That's one of the main reasons I started rapping, because I didn't want to wake up in the morning taking orders from no fucking body. There was no way I was going to get up for a 9 to 5 every day, taking orders, knowing that, okay, in order for me to get to a management, I got to work 5 years. Then the management money ain't going to be all that great. I like driving nice things. I like having a nice spot to live in. I know it's going to take years for me to get to that point. So even at the age of 16, I knew working a 9 to 5 wasn't going to be the deal for me. So, I vowed when I started doing music, I said, I'm going to become my own boss just so I don't have to wake up in the morning. Now, worrying about the money part, like we said, we go through these little emotions, and it's all cool to have emotions. That's what we're supposed to have, emotions. If God wouldn't have gave us these emotions if we wasn't supposed to feel it, right? So sometimes I'd be like, damn, man. I see other people, somebody might get a break. I'll be like, oof. But you got to remember that, and I always come back to this fruition of, I am right where I'm supposed to be. I am right where I'm supposed to be because I'm a people's guy. I love that I can go to the mall by myself. I love that I can go to anybody's hood by myself. I love that I can enjoy time with my kids without having bodyguards around by myself. I love that me and my girl can just take a trip. I don't need no security. I love the respect that people have for me, seeing me by myself. Like, yo, I told you he was a real nigga. Look at him. He just drive by. So I told you. People love that. I love it. There's certain fabrics to becoming rich that you might not like. And sometimes, God will give you what you ask for. And it may not be what you really wanted.
Right. You get it and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly. I think the best thing to do in those situations when you get to a point, you just tell yourself, hey, God, whenever you ready, I'm here. Some people are not rich because they're not ready to be rich. They don't even know how to pay their taxes, but they're ready to be rich. Feel me?
Right.
So we just have to accept where we are and just enjoy it. And who said you won't be? Maybe it's just not the time. Who said it's not coming? It could be coming. You just got to be patient and just enjoy what you have.
Yeah, it's got to be ready for it.
Got to be ready.
Invest your whole life up.
Right.
Yeah, that's dope, man. But yeah, all in all, I'm so grateful for the path I chose and the amazing experiences that this is episode 70, Bass and Bars. I mean, I grew up listening to you, bro. I wish I had this because I was like 9 or 10 years old. And it was right when Doc's the Name came out, the album. Right. And for an art class, I had to carve this, like it was this piece of linoleum or something like that. And I had to carve something. And I carved the album cover, like piece by piece to make like a printing block.
Get out of here.
And it's still somewhere, bro. Like it's in my mom's attic or something like that. But just like, it was crazy to think. I remember etching that album cover of you kicking down the wall.
Right.
And then 30 years later, we're here and we're about to make a video that's going to get seen by millions of people and go down in history. It's weird.
No, it's not weird until it happens. Actually, this was written in the books before we was born, bro. Like, that is part of the plan. I'm on that type of frequency. Like I said, I'm a real, I have a lot to learn, extremely a lot to learn, but I am on a frequency of things happen for a reason. Like me and my boy, shout out to Kenyatta Griggs. Me and him was talking and we were on the same page of things happen to you. No, things happen for you, not to you. No matter what they are. Even if it's looking bad, even if your leg got cut off, you have to look at it like things happen for you, not to you. So this is happening for us. For you to carve something back in the day that long ago, for us to meet here, it was in the books. It was supposed to happen to keep the frequency of our life going on. We're all in a fucking movie. All we have to do is play the role. All we got to do is just play the role and be obedient and stay safe. We know what to do. We done been there before of going left and trying to do things our way, trying to be fast, trying to be slick, trying to be greedy. We done all played that role. We know where it can get us. Now it's like, okay, I've been there. I don't want to go back there. Let me just finish out the role that I'm playing in life. So, yeah, it's a privilege and an honor.
No doubt.
Plus Preem was like, yo, man, when you going to get on that Bass and Bars? I said, I got you, big bro. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Shouts to Preem as always, man. Well,
always shout out to big bro, man. That's one guy that knows me too. From the beginning. Like lots of people don't know me from the beginning. Preem knows me from the beginning. Me and Craig Mack battling while we carried bags on tours before we even had albums out. That's the Preem. That's big bro. He know me as that guy.
He told me that story.
Right.
He tells that story often about you and Craig Mack.
Yeah, absolutely. So he definitely knows me with his stinking ass.
Hell yeah. All right, well, with that, man, that was a very insightful conversation, bro. I just appreciate your energy, man.
Yo, I like your music too, bro. Like I had to look you up. I was like, yo, what?
Oh, my solo records?
Yeah. No, your solo records, the way you do shows, bro, you can sing, bro.
No doubt.
You got some groove, you got some soul, bro. Like,
Thank you know, man.
Like you be killing shit. I like your not too many people can hold a note.
Yeah.
On stage and, But you got that magic, bro. You're
Thank
gonna
you,
do
bro.
a lot of big things, man. You're gonna be. You got the potential to be a very big artist, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
That means a lot, bro.
Yeah, big facts, bro. Like I
That's
see your
crazy.
shit. I was like, yo, this fucking guy is fucking dope.
You know what it was? I started singing like probably 4 years ago. I didn't do it. I was producing and playing bass since I was a kid, had platinum records I produced. So in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm a very well-known bass player and producer.
Right.
And then during COVID, it was taking forever to get records done. So I'm like, I'm gonna just start singing the demos, writing for people. And then one of them took off and became a Wiz Khalifa song. And then I'm featured on the song. I'm in the music video looking crazy, and it made a bunch of money. And I was like, oh shit, I'm a professional singer now. So the singing thing is new, but I just been training every day. I have a vocal coach. The same as like going to the gym. I fucking train that stuff, bro.
Good shit.
Yeah, so it's still a new endeavor. So I'm glad that you
Hey,
approved.
listen, man, I'm coming to get something from you for my album, bro. I might
So
wanna-
I got you on the hook. I'm good with the hooks, man.
Yeah, okay. Say no more. I'm coming to
100%.
you, brother.
No doubt, man. All right, well, let's get it. Bass and Bars, episode 70, Redman, tonight's the night. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Sick, bro.
Microphone check, I could get smooth to any groove, relax my tongue, let my mic take a cruise around the planet, packing men like Janet Jackson, she's asking if I can slow, oh, Brady, what the fuck?
I'm sorry, Redman. We gotta save the smooth shit, bro. This is Bass and Bars. Let's hit him with that rough shit.
Say no more.
2, 3.
Yo, microphone check. I walk around the street with a black Tech 9 by the waistline, kicking that hype shit. I never claimed to be the best type of rapper, but have to show you motherfuckers what I'm after. I'm after the gold, after that the platinum. Beef after that, Brady packs the gat, son. Chicky bang bang, yo bust the slang with my name. It's the Redman on a funk thing. Sight your motherfucking right tonight's tonight. To do what I wanna do, to do it like dynamite. Then when perfected, when the funk been ejected, I roughen up the rough draft to like make your head split, Past the 40 and the blunt, don't front on the blunt. When you do front, brother, you're getting stomped. I'm not an addict, more like Puff than Magic. Then pass it when I'm through, cause my niggas got to have it. I don't claim to be a big rap star. No matter who you are, you still catch a bullet scar. So listen up and take heed to what I'm saying, cause tonight's the night, and me and my niggas ain't playing. Long, hey, put your hands up high if you're feeling real high, like, hey, check me out, y'all. Yo, you wanna see me get smooth, please save it for the breeze, cause the lyrics and tracks make me funky like cottage cheese. Fuck the smooth shit, I get down with the boom bip like Q-tip. I kick more styles than Bruce Shoes kick. But tonight's tonight, what I write tonight is type of funk with the flavor like Mike and Nikes. Hanging out with my niggas. The pack pistol posse keep their fingers on the triggers. I keep the 40 between my lap cooling, rolling down the highway. Blunt system pumps cause it's Friday. Roll over to pick my boys up, we raise a lot of noise cause we can do that, black. So get the Bozak, Jack, be nimble. I do the type of evil that men do, like cursing out my window at a bitch and a friend too. So turn the volume up a notch and watch the boom. Make the speakers pop. That's the funk when it pumps, it makes you jump. But if you wanna see a fly but frantic, cool romantic, more slicker than my man Rick, you better check the yellow pages under smooth shit, cause Red ain't down for that bullshit. Niggas fucked up by letting me make an album to get on the mic and let my fucking style run. If you're feeling real high, put your hands up high like, let's go, Brady. Woo. Now if you're feeling real high, put your hands up high. Let's go. Yes, one more time, And if you're feeling real high, put your hands up high like, Premier, what's good? You already know. Oh, Redman in the building, Brady in the building. You already know.